Hey folks, welcome back here to Flexline Productions as we continue to bring you coverage of the 18th edition of the Southside Smackdown. Round 1 is already in the books, so if you haven't checked that out, please go ahead and do so. You can also follow, subscribe, that'd be nice. We're in round 2 and we're at Langan Municipal Park. And from our first round, we still have Downey on the card, but we have Fulford joining us here on the lead card for round number 2. Our third spot will be Cam, who we saw have a nice little recovery at the end of the first round to stay on the lead card. And then Scott Watson out of Pensacola is going to be our final member of our lead card here for round 2. And bringing the commentary is going to be myself, Dustin Mouret, and joining me, Kyle Simmons.
What's up, Dustin?
Doing pretty good. We're at hole 1. Most people just playing the high spike hyzer into the green. Very short hole, but kind of get around some of these guardian bushes. Most people just play the high line like that.
Yeah, there used to be another tree on the right side that would block the hyzer a little bit more. It has since died and been removed, opening up the hyzer even more.
Yeah, so if you want to just avoid having to try to fit a disc between these bushes and play a straight shot, the high hyzer is just kind of the way to go. You may also see some people play a forehand out left. It's pretty wide open out left, honestly, but there are a couple trees you have to beat on the way back into the green. That is smoked by Ben Fulford, who is a very far thrower. I would say he's probably one of the furthest throwers in the area in the southeast.
Cam's line's much higher. He spikes it in circle 1, should be no problem.
Scott Watson, like Cameron Colglazier, also sponsored by Infinite Disc. So everyone here throwing an open bag, but Cam and, again, Scott do have that Infinite Disc sponsorship. Cam also sponsored by 87. So he does putt the 5, but yeah, other than that, it's open season for everyone else. Ooh, great putt.
Yeah, if you put that in with authority, you don't have to worry about the speed control and the putting as much at Municipal Park with the veteran baskets, and Ben took full advantage of that.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that both these rounds were played on the same day. So after a full 20 holes at South, there was like an hour break for lunch, and we're playing another 20 holes here at Municipal Park. So stamina does become a factor. We might be seeing an all birdie affair here on hole 1. And honestly, when you get to these lead cards at Muni, it's really kind of that way for the first 5 or 6 holes usually. Lots of birdies to be had here on these first 6 holes of the course. Or really first 7 holes of the course.
No problem, Cam. He had a little bit more authority on that one as well from last round. He had a little bit of a struggle, but he seems to be on the right track so far.
Indeed. So star frame here on the opening hole for our lead card. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see a few more of those here on these first 6 or 7 holes as we get to hole 2, which is the most stock backhand hyzer shot you'll ever see. You feel real bad if you miss this one.
And that's exactly how you draw it up.
Yeah, most people throwing putter, maybe some players throwing a mid, something pretty overstable. Hang it out wide, have it skip in. There's a little bit of a headwind, I believe, so making people want to stable up even more. That just did not get back, really.
Yeah, Ben called it wide out of his hand. He must have known his disc wasn't going to move far enough left. But he has an open putt, and based on last hole, it's within his range.
That was good from Cam. Kind of gets beat down a little bit by the wind, so it comes up a bit short, but still in circle 1. little short as well, but still circle one. I mean, Ben's going to be putting like that. He's going to be hard to catch. Back-to-back huge putts from, that was definitely outside circle. Scott a little bit short there on the putt. Oh, no.
Cam's putting woes continuing into the second round.
It's one of those 50-50 putts where sometimes they'll just kind of stick and lay down and fall in, but that was definitely a decent bit right of center, so a chance to fall out, and it did. That, on the other hand, is surprising. From this angle, looked pretty good. So actually a lot more pars than what you normally see on this hole, but Ben, big putt everybody. So now we'll head to hole A. Water left, which is always the worry on this one. So you can either see a forehand over the water left or backhand right up the middle. Common plays.
Ben almost taking out the catch cam. He was extremely close. It seems like there's a left to right wind. He hung that out as far as he could, but not far enough.
Should be mid up the middle for Downey, which is one of the more common plays. But again, you said that left to right wind, kind of taking that disc and just pushing it well over. And that's in danger of going OB on the next hole, but does stay in.
See if Cam can make the correction off the first two guys.
A little surprised to see him go forehand. He's usually a guy on this hole that will play the mid right up the center. But elects to go forehand this time around instead.
He should be on the green. I'm surprised he went with that spiky angle as well, with the wind pushing it that way.
Oh, that's gone. Ducks. Okay, deep of the ducks. Don't want to be hurting those. He does not get to progress very far up because of that. That's a good scramble to at least walk away with bogey, not take too much damage. But yeah, and the famous last words, she gone, that disc.
Cam was much shorter than I thought.
Just needs to hope he was short on that, because that water comes in pretty quick on the back side of the green. I mean, Ben just can't miss. This man's hitting putts from everywhere. That's another circle 2 putt. He is killing it. I mean, again, if he keeps that up, it's going to be so hard to catch him now. He's got 2 strokes on Downey and a 4 on the rest of the card.
Just a little undercommitted from Scott. That's going to give him a double bogey.
This is Cam for par. I think he did stay in, so yeah, we'll be able to at least claim that. Not lose any more ground. This is Scott Watson for par as well.
It's a double bogey from
Oh,
Scott.
my mistake. Yes, you're correct. So here we go, hole 3. Not too far, but water comes in real close on the backside of the green, and so that's why you see Ben trying to play the hyzer over the bushes to, you know, control the distance, but just didn't get the right height and didn't have enough fade, so it gets caught in that bush on the right-hand side. But yeah, if you're just going to play something up the middle or higher hyzer over the bushes and just try to gently land. Just like that. That was a goose, Downey.
That was the goose that Scott almost hit.
Yeah. Oh, that's beauty. Just needs to sit down.
Just
Yep.
a perfect shot.
Again, that it's very hard pat ground by that basket, so disc can just keep on skipping forward right into the water. So again, you really have to control distance on this shot. Oh, and that's too high. Gets caught up. This is a very scary putt to try to run. Likely laying up for par here. Oh yeah, that's nothing to do with it. Smart play.
Looks like they're trying to locate Ben's disc.
Yep. Oh, we're seeing him throw out of the bushes right now. It's a good up and down. A little overhand to get up into the green to save par.
45 and he blasted. Tap in.
You'd much rather have the mistake Ben made than be too early and left.
Yes. So there's Downey grabbing the birdie. We'll close the gap between he and Ben. We'll be taking a par on this one. Cam also will gain a little bit back. So now we get the hole 4,
Thank you. What's the order?
which is pretty much just dead straight in front of you. Downhill though, and the wind usually really messes with you here. It also slopes down and to the left, so that's what really makes it sometimes a little tricky.
Now this is not a route you see very often.
Backside.
Agreed. Usually it's just kind of putter right up the middle. Maybe sometimes you'll also see like a flex forehand up the middle. But yeah, this is the more typical play that you're going to see Cam do here when it's in the straight pin position. There's an alternate pin you'll see in some tournaments that's down to the left towards the water that forces you to play to it, but otherwise you're just looking to go dead straight and control distance, and that looks great.
Exactly what you want to do.
Thank you.
Cam, same disc, the past 2 holes and parked both times.
Yeah, there's a right to left wind, which is another thing you have to think about right now on this whole tail right that's going to stable you out and push you even further left towards the water. So might need to play something a little flippier, maybe a little Annie. But also, again, just try to make sure you stay in the tunnel.
Got a word. What are you doing, dude?
Again, starting to slip a little bit here, but still early. And looks like Scott is going to go for that flex forehand I was referring to.
Shout out to Mobile Disc Golf Paparazzi for sponsoring hole 4. Kevin Keith does a great job of making it fun for everybody that passes through. Gets everybody a beautiful picture for the gram.
I thought about flicking that Avial Race 3, but I was like,
Oh, it tried to rob him, but the putt was just too good. Not today.
And that's a good birdie after, I mean, the line he chose was very surprising, but it obviously works.
Yep. we're going to be seeing birdies aplenty here on this hole. Other than Ben, who takes the pars, actually now ties Chris with Ben for the lead. And Cam's also starting to gain a little bit of ground on the 2 leaders, only 2 strokes behind. So we're starting to see some kind of early pivoting on the leaderboard. And now Cam finally gets to play. There's no better feeling in a tournament than getting to do that right there for birdie. Now you have to think about it. So we get to hole 5 in short pin position. So just, again, kind of a pretty stock hyzer shot.
Downey executes that pretty well. Should be inside circle 1.
The only real trick on this hole is if you go inside early, you could get caught up and be short. And also, you need to control distance because there is OB left and deep of the pin. But usually you got enough room to make it work.
It's a terrible shot.
I mean, I give it like a 6.5 out of 10 at least. It wasn't terrible. Still got a putt. I'll give that one a nice 8.5 out of 10. Just because you got to leave a little bit of room, right? Like an ace is a 10, so you gotta give it a little bit.
You can't
of
top it out. There's
yeah,
no room for
exactly,
growth.
exactly. That, oh, wow, that turned out so much better than I thought it was going to be. I thought I hit a tree.
I mean, that's a 9.5 if I've ever seen it.
We'll go 9.5, but a little luck was involved, so maybe like 9.2. Putt's just not been there for Cam. And that is frustration that's been building up, if you haven't seen round 1, you know, to now. It's been going on for a while. Hopefully he can, you know, reset after that.
My fault, Chris.
Huh?
My fault.
I was just unlucky that it rolled that far. It was actually impressive.
Do it again.
Because all these guys know each other pretty well. I mean, they've all grown up in this area. They've been playing disc golf with each other for years and years now, and it's always a good time to get to see them all together.
Scott, no problem. Ben just looks so happy about that birdie.
He's been getting a lot of them. Cam will settle for par, so we'll fall one more behind. Just back 3 of the leaders. We get to hole 6 in long pin position, so just need to, honestly, you don't need to do too much off this tee. Just don't hit these early trees. You know, get yourself 275 to 325 off the tee, and then just approach for birdie. You don't have to do too crazy. Now, what you may see is someone on this car get aggressive with the backhand roller and try to get the eagle. You may see that. Dude, I wish I could throw that far, that effortlessly. I mean, it looked like you didn't even try, and he threw that. That was probably 380, maybe more.
Yeah, it was the shot that you want. You want to just go right past the white post that you see. That's the alternate position.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're anywhere past that or right at it, you have a perfect shot.
And I believe the alt pin is like 340 to 350. So yeah, if you're getting past that, you've done well. But again, you don't even need to get past that. If you can just get close to it, you're good.
Cam is pummeling a disc.
What? Bruh.
Or you could just do that.
You could. That's so hard to do with how low the ceiling is off the tee to still get that kind of distance. I mean, you have to have the perfect height, as well as to get over those big bushes. I mean, that was ridiculous.
Here's Scott showing us the upshot.
No.
Hits one of the only obstacles.
That's it feels bad.
That's in the circle too, though. He should have a putt.
Yeah, that was about a 400-foot tee shot for Ben on the low ceiling. And so that means Cam's is probably about 450 to 470. So, yeah, very impressive. Everyone has a pretty routine upshot that's left to grab their birdie here. Again, Scott has to work a bit more for his because he hit that pole, but otherwise, still a chance.
Looks like we missed Cam's upshot, but there's his putt for birdie.
Yep. Well, it's pretty routine from his landing spot. Same for these other two players. They should be getting their birdies. Scott will take the par due to that upshot just being a little bit caught up. And again, these first 7 holes is where you really want to score at Muni. And so far, the majority of our card have taken pretty good advantage of it. I would say the next hole, hole 7's like really the last one that's kind of a gimme before you start getting some holes that become a little bit more challenging. Big fan of Ben out there somewhere. I'll cheer for you. I'll cheer for you, Chris. Heck yeah, dude. And here it is, hole 7, just under 300 feet. Again, pretty routine spike hyzer.
Downey went for the skippy line. Didn't get any skip. And he's going to be behind that bush. Probably not much of a look for his birdie.
Yeah, that bush is the one problem on this hole for you. If you get inside of it or to the right of it and you don't push far forward enough or you're a little short, you could have an obstructed putt. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
That's a pretty good shot from Ben. It looks like the wind is still, or it's at right to left this time, and pushed it left pretty early, but it was a stable disc and got down to the ground.
Yeah, let's like head right to left, so can make this a little bit trickier. But just pick your overstable disc, put it wide enough, and then watch it do this right there. Perfect.
Load up. Almost. I wanted it. I see you raising your hand to fist bump all that.
We got 3 people on the green. Downey is close, but he's got a obstructed look.
He actually tried to run that. Wow. Okay. I guess he felt like there was enough room to try to make it work, and he wasn't penalized for it. So it was worth
he
a
does
shot.
have that nose up spinny putt though, which can give him some height after he gets under the ceiling. But it was a valiant effort. Ben might be behind the bush now with his comeback.
Ben might have a further putt now than what he started with. And that's the first real mistake we've seen him make on the putting green. I know we had kind of a missed tee shot on hole 3. Oh no, a 3-putt for Ben. Considering how many big circle 2 putts he hit the first few holes, this is surprising. Hopefully he can reset, because he was definitely on a roll. But now Downey's going to take solo lead and Cam's going to gain. And Now it gets interesting. Because I would say, like, when you get to this level, maybe you agree, disagree, but on this course, if you have like a decent lead, you feel pretty comfortable holding on to it. There's not too much trouble to get into on this course.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they think they can birdie every hole, and they can.
Yes.
So if you have a couple strokes to play with, you feel, oh, well, I'll just keep playing my game, get some birdies, and I should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do something like Ben just did, where you hit a 2-putt, 3-putt, it's really hard to reset yourself and continue to stay on that streak.
Yeah. Yeah, usually if you come into this course and it's the final round and you've got like a 3-4 stroke lead, you're feeling pretty good. But now that's gone. He's actually behind by a stroke, and now things get spicy, Kyle. Got a ball game. And we got a fun hole up next, a big par 4.
Yeah, we could see some of these guys absolutely rip into some plastic. I would assume they have a little bit of a headwind, and that disc kept moving right.
Yes.
That's where it's been stable.
But if it goes far enough, he should still have an open look to the basket.
Yeah, again, with this being a par 4, you really only need about 400 to 450 feet off the tee.
And there's a gradual slope downhill the whole way.
Yeah. So it's usually pretty easy to get that. But obviously, any additional distance you get over 450 feet is just a luxury. It makes your approach shorter.
And that was a crush.
Yes. That was around that 450 mark. You do occasionally see people get aggressive and throw backhand roller, but really no need to with the scores the way that they are.
Yeah, if it's just far enough where you can't regularly get it with the roller, so there's not much of an advantage, like you said.
It's like rolling my shoe. I'm still a pretty good shape.
And everyone got past like the first 2 tree lines, so everyone has a pretty routine approach to birdie at this point. Everyone's probably like 275 or less to the pin. That was a good upshot from Scott to put him in the circle. The fact that Ben got that far while slipping is actually pretty bonkers.
And on straight hyzer.
Yeah. He's definitely one of the guys in the area that has like that, you know, pushing 550 power. Cam is not too far behind either. And Downey also can start touching 500 as well, probably. I don't know too much about Scott, unfortunately.
There you go, Chris.
Perfect upshot from Chris. Cam follows suit. That's a good putt. The basket wanted to jump it out, but it held on, and you have to birdie this hole. I mean, if you don't get a 3 on this hole, you're losing strokes to 90% of the field.
Yeah, definitely at this level for sure.
And the putting lows carry over from the last hole.
And that wasn't even that bad.
No, it was close.
Yeah, that was one of those like 60-40s where 60% of the time that stays in.
But compared to the first 3 holes where he was
Banging,
parting
yeah.
40-footers, it's surprising.
And you have to wonder if, you know, things are starting to kind of, like, that's when you have to, like, really test your composure and just try to, you know, say, look, you know, I'm still in this. It's only like a stroke difference. Just got to keep it going. But Downey could gain another one here. And he will. A little 2-stroke lead as we start ending our front 10. Meanwhile, Cam is sneaking up, about to tie Ben up for second. Here we go. Pretty difficult par 3, honestly. It's only 400 feet, but because you have to play the hyzer line, it definitely requires closer to probably 450 power, I would say.
And they should be throwing into the same headish wind that they were in the last hole. So they, like Cam made the mistake of throwing too stable, probably to try and fight that wind, and you can see he ended up left.
Yep. The only other mistake you can make is overturning something into the parking lot to the right-hand side, but usually that's less common.
Scott has pretty good width here.
Yeah.
That looks great.
If you get past that last bush right there, you're usually in circle one. Because I think that little bush is like maybe 60-ish feet away from the pin, so you skip a little bit past that, you're good to go.
Downey munching on something stable. Kind of a mute
I've
skip,
gone out
but
of bounds in this whole last 3 years. I'll take it.
Looks like he got even with the bush, or maybe just past it, so he's probably circle two. And that is smushed.
that looks great. Wow.
That is parked.
Perfect.
Oh, you throw it harder than me. I cannot get it.
So yeah, this is pin high, but decent distance away into circle two here for Cam to try to snag a birdie. Close, so close. And yeah, like we thought, just past the bush, a circle two putt here for Downey. Just didn't commit.
Luckily for Downey, he's wearing his headphones, so he doesn't have to hear the goose hurricane that's going on right now.
There are a lot of Canadian geese at Langan Municipal Park. Misses a 50-50 one there as well. So it's going to crack the door back open for Ben to take the lead back, or tie up for the lead at least. Good one there for Scott.
No, they always want to jump out. I got gray hairs because of it, dude. Up until I think like last year, I never had gray hair. Now I probably got like 30 of it.
So a couple of birdies there for Ben and Scott, and a par tap in there for Cam. And you can see it's a pretty tight race to the top here. Only 3 stroke separation between our leader and the person in third or fourth. And yeah, that's going to do it. Take a look here at the leaderboard. It is Downey leading things by just 1 stroke with Fulford and Cam right behind him. And again, I'm Dustin Mouret. With me has been Kyle Simmons, and please subscribe so you can catch the back 10 coming up soon. You can leave that in if you want.